So here's my take on why I think the old textures are better. No, Ace Logic. Listen. This is, you guys wanted me to talk about this, so that's why I'm doing it. I'm not gonna talk about it for too long, but I'm going to get my points across here. Okay. So here you can see the old textures. Here's the new textures. And Ryok told me that the new textures were more bright and welcome. I don't agree with this, mainly because you can clearly see that this is a lot more grim, dark, and scary than this one. Yes, this is less detailed, but that's sort of the charm with the old graphics. I think that's what made Pixel Planet, Pixel Planet. That's why people liked the game. It was a mix between Pixel Worlds, which was really detailed, and Grotopia, which wasn't detailed at all. So it was sort of like a mix between the two. I know we shouldn't compare the games, but I feel like that was a big part of why this sort of art style looked better. It was more pleasing on the eyes, is what I'm trying to say here. But I also want to bring up a point that Asuri made, and also 8-Bit. I don't know if 8-Bit is in the chat, but let's take this block that we have here. This is the old dirt block. He mentioned something called pillow shading, which is when the I guess you can call it something like this. Okay, it means that, let's just change these colors. It means that it's shaded like this. Okay, you have the dark parts up here in each corner, and you have the lighter part in the middle. And yes, you can see that that's exactly what Adam JD was thinking about when he made the dirt block. You can see that it's pillow shaded. You have the dark parts in the corner, and you have a lighter part in the middle. But Asuri made a claim that the new block is not pillow shaded. Let me just show you why I think that's false. Okay, you can take the new block, and you know, they were talking about making some changes to this block. They're going to remove the really dark outlines and make it more pleasing on the eyes. So if I were to do that, just quickly in paint.net, it's pillow shaded. Let me actually make it the same color as this so you can see it a little bit more clear. It's not gonna be 100% obviously, but you get my point here. You can see that this is also pillow shaded. The corners are dark and the middle is light. And he made a claim, Ryok made a claim that, oh, but yeah, of course, but you can see that the light source is coming from the top left because these stones in the middle are dark, or like they have a shadow. But I don't see why that, you know, makes sense, because these aren't lined up to do that. The shadows are in completely different places. This one is here, this one is there, this one is on the side. Like, what? And also, this block, the old block, didn't even have rocks, so it didn't even make sense to put shadow like in the middle of that. As you can see, this one doesn't have rocks, so you can't really compare this one to this one. You see my point here? Like, there's no rocks here. So this is pillow shaded, but this is also pillow shaded once they decide to remove the outline. It's just hard to see now because it has this really dark outline. So that's the dirt and grass block, and why I think the old one is better. It looks better, it's more pleasing, it's more bright, it's more colorful, it's more vibrant. It's just better to look at overall. Now let's get over to this pizza sauce topping looking block here. This is the lava block. I don't have a full scale picture of this. I just have the whole picture of the half block, but it's fine. This one is clearly too detailed to what we have. This one is way more pleasing to look at. I don't really have to prove any point here. It's just facts. I mean, come on. There's not much to say about this. This one looks like lava. This one looks like pizza topping. I really dislike the new lava block. Okay, let me read what Tag is saying. I see you can't compare it, but the dirt is being put on the ground. I think it should be grim, dark, and scary. So what if this was placed on top then? Would that make a difference? This would still be grim and scary. I mean, okay, let's take this picture here for instance. Let's make a new... do that. Okay, I'm going to replace every single texture in this picture with the new dirt block. Let's just copy this. if I gotta be completely honest with you, I think, like, dead serious, I think the new dirt block is really freaking ugly. And I don't want to be like over exaggerating or anything, but that's my point. You can see that it's a lot more, I don't know, bro, it's so hard to put your words on it, but the shadows are just so weird. The outline is way too dark. And here you can see the dirt block in mid-air, in the light. This is on top of the world, right? So this is on the top. They're still dark, they're still grim, they're still scary. Like, okay, I can see this being put underground or somewhere, but as a block that you're going to see whenever you make a new world on the top of the world, dirt isn't sand, it has solid parts in it, and I think this remodel shows this perfectly. Okay, I see you're a hard person to I guess, I don't know, bro. But yeah, this is essentially the block that is going to replace this dirt block that we all know and love. I'm going to put them side by side so we can all see it. When you see it like this, which one looks better to you? Is it still this one? Because I honestly cannot understand why people like this block. It looks like it's taken from opengameart.net or whatever the hell that website is called. It looks like a free source, like a free thing you can download on the internet and put in your game. This looks like a Breworlds item. While this one actually looks like it's made by a professional, and it's what differentiates, you know, Pixel Planet from the other games. This is why Muffin thinks the dirt blocks shouldn't have an outline, they should be connected, and I agree with Muffin. Okay. If it wouldn't have the outline, then absolutely the remodel is better. But you think it still looks better if it has the outline though? Like, you're saying that it looks better, like the new block looks better than the old one. Yeah, let's look at Pixel Worlds. Let me just get rid of this one. Let's look at the Pixel Worlds dirt block. I'm going to make a brand new world so we can see this in its glory, okay? Here's the Pixel Worlds block. Looks pretty nice. It still has an outline, but it's not overdone. It's still pillow shaded. I don't know why people keep making the claim that the new block is not pillow shaded. It's clearly pillow shaded. The outline, like the corners, are dark and it's getting more and more light the more center to the block you get. This is pillow shading. The new block in Pixel Planet is pillow shaded. The old block in Pixel Planet is pillow shaded. It's all pillow shaded. No, no, come on. This is not similar to the remodel at all. The only difference is that the shadows are a lot darker. You can see that. I don't know if you can see my cursor, you cannot, okay. But yeah, the shadows are more darker on the grass here, and that's exactly what they've done with this as well. The shadows here are a lot darker. I think it is too bright than a normal dirt. Oh yeah, that's another point that I want to bring up, Mado, because the problem with this block in particular is the fact that if you place multiple of this one next to each other, it's going to be so repetitive. You can see how the rocks are aligned here. They have this weird pattern, and if you put this block next to each other like that, like imagine a whole world with this, it's gonna get super repetitive. Like Pixel Worlds has actually managed to, you know, make their block not that repetitive. Like if you see them next to each other like that, it doesn't look too distracting. but the way the pixel planet block is shaded and how it's shadowed, it's gonna get super repetitive. Oh, it just looks so dark and grim, dude. Like, I don't like it at all. Honestly, I don't like it. And I know people are going to disagree with me, and I know people are going to agree with me. Like, this is an opinion that people have. I think this is what Pixel Planet should be. This is what a grim Forager clone should look like. This is not Pixel Planet, in my opinion. So yeah, we've talked about the dirt. We've talked about the lava block. I mean, this one is just disgusting. I do understand how you give it feedback. Of course, tell your thoughts to react, but don't expect not to be combated with other reasons. Yeah, I know, and I feel like that's completely what happened to, like, that's not what happened to me yesterday, because I tried to share my opinion. I know I was around a heap of people that had the opposite opinion. They were literally targeting me and bringing up my channel being dead because I had an opinion about a block. Like, come on. It's an opinion, and I'm really passionate about it because I love this game and I want it to be good. And that's why I'm so, about it. That's why I want to change. And I know people aren't going to agree with me, and that's okay. But you shouldn't attack people for that reason. I have some more opinions as well about the actual blocks, like not the solid big blocks, but like the small decoration props you can place. Let me try to find a picture of this so I can show it to you guys. Okay, here's a picture. There's one thing that I really don't like about these blocks. Like, okay, don't get me wrong, they look good, and I think as an art style it looks good, but I don't know if it works in Pixel Planet, man. Like, these colors that they've used on the wood here and over here and on the bookshelves as well, it's so red and yellow-ish. Like, it's so overly bright. It's so, okay, let me try to find a word on it. It's so saturated. So like, look, if I do this is what they've done to the blocks. They've made it so overly saturated. It looked more like this, but still had some of that color to it. Now it's so red and yellow. Like, it's so not pleasing on the eyes. In my opinion, okay? I know people have different opinions, and that's fine. Also, the cave background, Jesus Christ. If you're gonna talk about a block being repetitive, then just imagine this on a wall. Like, come on, bro. I like the new dirt, but the new lava looks like an orange hurricane. Okay, that's fair. What do you think about the Stargate? I like the Stargate. I just think the like pretty much about all the other blocks, it's way too, it's shaded in a way that I dislike, I guess you can say, and it's way too yellow and bright. The color scheme that they went with is so weird to me. It's so overly saturated. It's a mix between blue, yellow, and red. It's, oh man, I'm talking way too much, but I hope you guys get my point here. How about the bedrock? I think the bedrock actually looks pretty good. Like, that's one of the only blocks that I actually like from the new textures. If they made the outline a lot brighter, like if they made it less noticeable and actually made it, I guess, loop, then I guess it could work. I think the bedrock actually looks good. The bookcases, I have the same opinion about the bookcases that I have with the crafting table and chests. It's way too overly saturated in red and yellow, and also a bit of blue. The gravel block is pretty bad. Do you mean this one? Is this the block that you guys are talking about? Yeah, I wish I had a picture of the old textures now, like a full-on picture of that, so I could really compare it. I only have this picture from the old textures. It's the dirt and the lava. I remember the old stone texture was actually pretty good. I liked that. And what other blocks were there? I think there were a gravel as well, but I don't know if they changed it. I think there used to be a gravel block, but I'm not entirely sure. Actually, yes, there were. I remember that you could craft gravel with 2 different things. I think it was dirt and stone, and you could make gravel. I think I'm correct about that, but I'm not entirely sure. I do like the other stuff, but I see where you're coming from. Yeah. And I understand that we're losing by 10-1. It's obviously not going to change. I'm not a fan, and I know people that aren't a fan of this as well. They're just not speaking up about it like I am. We got Sionix, we got Really, we got Small, we got, I guess, Perksin, I don't know. We have a lot of big people here as well that doesn't like the changes, but they're not speaking up like I am. I mean, I went totally sicko mode in the chat yesterday, and I tried to defend my case so hard. It was difficult, but I hope people understand that I'm really passionate about this, and I want it to succeed. And I want it to look good, and yeah. I think it's time to go back to Pixel Worlds now. I hope you guys clipped everything I said and you guys compile it to a video and send it to Reok, because I'm not going to do that myself. Yeah, Perksin, that's the thing too. Like, some people just see that the like ratio is that like different, and they just don't see the point in really talking about it, because they know it's not going to happen anyway. But I do feel like having a vote in the announcement channel was a pretty bad idea, considering most people just see that, okay, Reok pinged, what did he ping about? Okay, I don't care, I'm just going to thumb up, you know? A lot of people just see the announcement, they see the ping, and they just thumb up. They don't really read into what it's about. But it's not going to be possible to make a fair vote, and it is what it is. We're going to have to live with it. That's what we have to do. What about the portal? I did talk about the portal. I think I have pretty much the same opinion about the portal that I have with all the other props. I'm not really a big fan of them. The thing that I really liked about Pixel World, like Pixel Planet, back in 2018. The thing that really caught my eye was the UI. I think it looked really good. The graphics looked really good. It was such a good idea to get Adam JD on it. I know Adam is, you know, a grown man. He has a family. He has a job. He does other stuff other than making Pixel Planet. But I think he did such a great job. He made my horse mask. Like, bro, the dude is really good at pixel art. And I don't see the point in continuously changing the graphics over and over again when what we have is good. And 8-bit was able to make stuff that looked like Adam GD's work. We had an art style that represented Pixel Planet, and they keep changing it over and over again. Same with the UI. The UI has changed from being blue to black to whatever the hell we have now. We think we have something that looks like Pokemon Platinum graphics. And I'm not hating, I'm just sharing my opinion. I think changing the graphics over and over again is the wrong thing to do. And especially if it's so drastic like this, it's gonna end up being pretty bad. People are liking it too much because they haven't seen it in game. Yeah, I did get to try a V1. I'm gonna call it V1. I know React didn't understand what I was talking about when I said V1, but V1 is essentially the version that is after the beta, so I'm gonna keep calling it that. Version 1.0. I did get to try an early version of that, and some of the props were changed, so I did get a feel for how different it was from the previous betas. And already then, like a month ago when I got to try this version, I felt the same thing that I'm feeling now. I feel like the graphics got so saturated, they got so dry, they got... But back then, you know, you could mix the new blocks, the new art style with the old ones, and it didn't look that bad. But now, I mean, Ryok is really going at it and is changing every single block in the game. I mean, you can check his announcement, he said he's gonna change everything. So I don't know how that's gonna affect the old art that we liked, but I hope it doesn't change the horse mask, because that's so iconic right now and I don't want it to change. I think he should release the beta build for a day to check if people really like it that much. I don't think he's gonna do that. I really don't think so, but it's... yeah. Right now, most people have to base their opinion on a picture, you know? Ryok changes horse mask to clown mask. Yeah. Oh, Pika voices his opinion about a art style in the game? Okay, we're gonna have to change the horse mask, boys. Okay, I'm done talking about this. It's been well over the amount of time that I wanted to allocate to a literal rant, I guess. We should go back to what we were originally doing. We were playing Pixel Worlds Epic.